I was just looking at chapter 14, get in the game without quitting your job, and it just triggered something. So I used to work for IBM a while back, a few years ago, and it so the concept is you could stay at your job and keep kind of do this and build up a revenue stream. But have you ever come across, and I know IBM would do this, where people they come up with ideas and they've signed employment contracts that say we actually own any ideas you come up with. I mean, what do you is there any kind of information or what you could say there? And I'll tell you how I handled it. I left IBM because I felt it was wrong that they would take my idea if I came up
Okay.
with it, and it's just and probably one of the best things I ever did. But anyway, sorry, that's
No, I think if you come up with an idea on their time, they should
yeah,
own it. I mean, but also if it's in their particular field, yeah, you're working for them. Okay, look at that contract very carefully. Sometimes I've recognized that if you have an idea, if you show it to them and they don't use it, sometimes they'll give
yeah,
it back. Give them first right. Say, look, what are you guys doing? But if you come up with an idea that's not in that particular field, I don't think they're going to care whatsoever. But they do want you to be focused on your
mm-hmm,
job. Okay, I
yeah,
understand that. We have in the book we talk about these two guys, Mark and Jeff, because everybody asks me all the time, Steve, how long does this take? And what about my job? How do I find time during the day to do this? Well, these two guys, what was amazing, they were childhood friends, and they both were in a band when they were growing up, and they wanted to get back in the music business. And on the way to work, they would have their meetings in the car. They all had to drive about 30, 40 minutes. So every morning they got on the phone and they had their meetings. Sure enough, they just licensed their second idea. But their first idea took about 8 months, licensed it to a company. It's all around the world now. And they did their business before and after driving
wow,
home. And the way he made his sales call, Jeff did, he called at lunchtime,
yeah, yeah.
right? And he didn't have to change his life, didn't have to spend a lot of money, found that perfect company, and now they just licensed their second idea. So, yeah, if you really are passionate about this, you can find the time to do it. It's not a 40-hour work
Yeah.
week here, folks. It
Mm.
can be, but dabble in it a little bit. Don't go crazy and quit your
Yeah. Yeah.
job. No. But there's some things that you can do to get started, and you can do it on the
I think
off hours.
I absolutely agree with you. If you're working on a company's nickel, they absolutely own it. Just one thing I do want to stress because it has happened. I know, especially with IBM, even if you're working on a company, even if your off hours has nothing to do with anything that they do, they actually said we own that idea, right? No matter what. And I still don't think that's right. But make sure that you look at your contract, your employment contract. I know with IBM, if you had anything that you had worked on, they gave you the opportunity before you signed your employment contract to actually list the information that you've actually come up with
Right.
beforehand so that you say, no, I already own these
Well, they're
concepts,
hiring
right?
intellectual property essentially.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're
There's
the
no doubt
largest
about it.
patent holder in the world too, right? Or
Yeah.
one of them. So,
I think you have to look at that agreement very carefully, and I've just noticed that people can change those agreements
yeah.
at times. But they want you to be a happy employee, and they want you to contribute, and just play by the rules and work with them. I mean, talk to them, say, look, I'm a creative guy, and I've got these great ideas, and I want to do something with them. Can you help me?